So Phil, we've each got a couple of decades in this sector now. Yes. Seems a bit much, doesn't it?
Yeah. We'll have counted up together.
Exactly, yeah. So we've both been busy with, well, one of the things we've been busy with is retainers, isn't it? Marketing agency retainers. Myself, I've seen the evolution of Bespoke and how we've managed these. And for yourself, you've seen that in recent years here, but you've been client side as well.
Yeah, it's interesting from being on the client side of things for many years, and having targets for lead generation or sales and building those digital teams. I always had the same challenge of goal setting to get a return on investment for whatever activities we were doing with our chosen agency partner. It was exactly the same issue, but it all boils down to ROI, whether you're in-house or whether you sat on our side of the fence.
I think we hear of some retainers that either they don't have a goal to speak of, or the agency has is different for what the client has. Maybe the agency's measuring traffic or search terms, but the client wants, revenue or leads or something like that.
Yeah, and I think that's true. And if they're not matched, you're not setting yourself up for success. But I think those ROI commercial conversations start generally in the workshop.
Right.
Because if you can become aligned on the goals at that stage, and both of you are clear on what you're setting out to achieve, then it's simple to report it. Everyone can get after the same objective, and ultimately, you need a return on investment for that client's investment with us.
So let's say, I'm going to try and picture this. I'm in the workshop, you're running the workshop. I'm the client I'm considering a retainer. I'm thinking about my marketing activity for next year, 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah.
How would I know with the targets that were set in that workshop that I'm actually going to get a return on the retainer? There must be some way I can...
Well, I think the first thing is to make sure we're using the same terms and metrics,
Right.
Perhaps if the client comes in looking at social media engagement or talking keywords, or even just talking individual marketing channels, that's probably not going to get us the result we want. We need to be talking about the investment they're prepared to make, and are we going to get a minimum 5-to-1 return on that, ultimately for the bottom line, but realistically something more like 10-to-1.
Yeah.
And that's only going to come with identifying the value of a lead and ultimately a volume of leads, and that then rolls up into a decent return on investment for the client, which then can also be scaled or turned up.
Yeah.
If, once those results flow.
If I can dig deeper on you've got oversight of all the retainers here. Do you see, is there a goal on every account, and is the client sort of, is there an alignment between what we regard as a goal and what they regard as a goal and a result and so on? What's the...
Yeah, that overarching sort of commonality, because obviously they've all got separate goals, clearly.
Yes.
But the common theme between them all is that there's an agreement between us and them as to what that goal is.
Yeah.
But there's also a commercial return for that goal. It's not a vague metric like SEO growth or traffic. It's something defined and financial.
Right. And without giving any names away, is there a couple of examples of goals that you could just illustrate what a goal might be on a typical retainer or an example?
Yeah, I mean, if we can, so this is where in the workshop or a different type of environment, we'd work with the client to understand what the value of, let's say, a sale is, for a conversion to whatever metric we're trying to achieve. So if we know the value of, let's call it a sale, or we know how many leads we can bring in, suddenly that builds a model of what that return on investment can be. It doesn't have to be lots of metrics. It can be 3 or 4 metrics can suddenly give us a clear idea of what that return on investment could be. So for example, if we think of perhaps an example would be a trade bathroom supplier. We know that the value of a lead that we bring in for them could be 2 or 3 sales. There could be a lifetime value over a given period of £2,000 to £3,000, let's say £2,500. And that's measurable. We know that. That's a figure that's agreed and understood between us and the client. So if you take that figure and a conversion rate for sales and a volume of leads, you've very quickly got that rolls up into a commercial value that we can bring to the business over a given year or 12 or 18 months.
And they can look at it and they can think, well, we've got this spend, but we've also got this outcome. And whatever that ratio is, you say the target's 5-to-1 at least, but they can look at that as well and both parties can be agreed this is working or it's not working and something that needs to change.
It doesn't have to be complicated yet. It can literally be a handful of metrics on one piece of paper or a digital screen that you can very quickly see the return you're getting on the investment with us. But it also, I think once you've got that baseline of understanding, from there you have more confidence to then turn it up. If you feel that you've got real control over that marketing investment, you're then in a position where you can say, well, if you invest another £1,000, we know we're going to get a 5 or 10 to 1 return on it. So there's confidence to invest more. But also, the clients that we're dealing with, if they have stakeholders to manage within their business, the board directors or the owner, it's very easy to take a simple and clear, defined set of metrics to prove the worth of that investment with us.
I see. Great. So either way, you're obviously better off with a clear, agreed, measurable goal than without one.
Yes.
Retainers are like that.
Yeah. And simple is better so long as it's agreed from the outset, probably at the workshop stage or those initial conversations. Yeah.
Great. Lovely. Thank you, Phil.
Benchmark your company's digital marketing with this free tool. It takes 5 minutes to audit your strategy and you get a free report with recommendations. Visit bespokedigital.agency/free.